Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we start the playoffs here in the Cup Series, our final playoff run of the NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. But before that, we have to decide the regular season finale here in both the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. And for the Truck Series, we had a bit of a throwback driver, you could call it, of Carl Edwards, who would be in my truck here at Michigan. Very excited to have him here in the truck. Obviously, he retired from the Cup Series after the 2016 season. It was when he had a great race in Miami, and obviously he got crashed up toward the end of that thing when it was looking like he was really the championship favorite. But we had him here, like I said, in the truck as he had a decent qualifying effort. Wasn't the greatest, a little bit around the midfield area as he started on this outside lane here as he comes through out of turns 2 on this first and opening lap, but hoping that he could get to the bottom as quickly as possible, as just the bottom is key everywhere, especially in the Truck Series, it seems like now, as he would, though, be able to get down to that bottom nearly, but then that got filled up by, I believe, Ben Rhodes, that is, in the 99. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, who in the world that is right now as we go down the front stretch. Carl made it 3 wide between Sheldon Creed and Matt Crafton, but he would get ahead of Creed there and get to that bottom lane like he had wanted to be able to do now as he went down towards turns 1. So Carl was moving his way forwards very quickly once he got down to this bottom lane there, as he would pass the 13 of Johnny Sauter, and just like I said, he would just start to move his way forwards once he got off that top lane there, as he was behind the 22 of Michael Self. And then sure enough, a little bit later, he had moved his way past Stuart Friesen, the 16 of Austin Hill, the 18 of Harrison Burton, and then he just continued to climb his way forwards past the 18. Then you'd get past Ross Chastain and whatnot, as well as the 0-2. We came all the way to the final lap where Carl had climbed up into the second position, and as we went down into turns 1, he would make a move for the lead here on the final lap here in Michigan. He's going to be side by side as they come through out of turn 2. You see just behind him there is Stuart Friesen ready to pounce if something happens here, as Carl is going to be side by side for the lead down the back straightaway here on the final lap there, as he nearly gets cleared down into turns 3, but he's going to send it back up the inside of Brett Moffitt now as he tries to win this race, but he sends it in a little bit deep, and he's going to go wide now on the exit of turns 4, and that's going to open the door for Stuart Friesen to come through and take the lead here on the final lap. There's a little bit of contact between Carl and Stuart, but Stuart Friesen would steal the victory away on the final corner and win here in Michigan, as Carl Edwards would finish down in second place. What a finish it was right there already to start off the video. But now we come through to the Xfinity Series regular season finale here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We had subscriber Lil Norgie in the car here for us in the Xfinity Series in Las Vegas, a track that never treated myself very well here in Xfinity. It's always treated us well in the Cup Series, thankfully, and hopefully it will do the same here today in this episode of Career Mode now, as Lil Norgie, like I said, a subscriber in the car here as he went down towards turns 1, starting on the outside there of the 9 of Noah Gragson, but he would get very aggressive right off the bat, make it 3 wide as he came through turns 1 and out of turns 2, just behind the 21, I believe, of Kaz Grala, if I remember correctly, here down the back straightaways. He was obviously also looking to get down into the bottom lane as quickly as possible, and he would have the opportunity to get in that bottom lane right behind the 9 of Noah Gragson, and as soon as he got down there, once again, we just kind of started to see our car move forwards. He made it 3 wide there with Austin Cindric there as he had gotten as well to the inside of Cole Custer as he went down towards turns 1. So like I said, he was just continuing now to move his way forwards as well. Come through just a little bit later, he had gotten to the inside of the 98 of Chase Briscoe as he went down into turns 1. You see Christopher Bell, Jeffrey Earnhardt all up in the mix on that outside lane, as Norgie would just continue to get through and gain the positions here on that bottom lane, as he would slide up behind Christopher Bell, though, now as he came through turn 3 a little bit later. He had actually lost a position to the 22 of Austin Cindric as the car started to fall off a little bit. So we come through, though, all the way to the final lap. At this point, he had lost another position to the 7 of Justin Allgaier, and then out of turns 4, he would go a little bit wide and give up another spot there to the 98 of Chase Briscoe as he came through to cross the line, though, still for a very solid P8 finish here in Las Vegas, as Michael Annett would win the final race of the regular season. So now this obviously puts the playoffs in for all 3 series, and we're going to start the first race of the Cup Series playoffs here in this episode now as we come through to myself in the Cup Series for qualifying here in Las Vegas. Like I said, a track that we usually come to. We know we're going to be a threat, so I was very excited to come into this one. Surprisingly, we've never been able to actually get a win at Las Vegas. Our closest attempt, I think, was our first ever Las Vegas race back in the 41 car, 4 seasons ago or something like that now, as we come through turns 3 and turns 4 on our qualifying attempt. It wasn't the best lap I could have gotten, but it was still a fairly decent one. I thought we were going to still get a half decent qualifying position as we come through the cross line with 30.885, and we do get a solid P11 qualifying position, so that definitely keeps my confidence high, knowing that I could have got more out of the car still, as Jimmie Johnson rounds out the top 10, and on pole is our rival of Daniel Suarez.
We're in Las Vegas for the South Point 400. Now, the 10-race NASCAR playoffs start today. After a knockdown, drag-out regular season, only 16 drivers still have a shot at NASCAR's greatest prize. So pull up a chair, and we'll deal you in.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. There you see Austin Dillon starting at the back of the field after an engine change after qualifying. He is in the playoffs after he was able to steal a win earlier this season. Daniel Suarez on the pole, barely missed out on the playoffs by less than 20 points or so. And same for Jimmie Johnson, who was also very close to making it, but fell out of the playoffs in the last couple races of the regular season. Now the green flag, though, is out the playoffs. Our final playoff run of the NASCAR Heat 4 career mode is officially underway here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We start just behind our teammate Kurt Busch, who comes into the playoffs with 2 victories on the season. We come in, keep in mind, with 3 victories. Most recently, the very last episode, where we had a photo finish with the 88 of Alex Bowman, who's on my outside. He wasn't very happy with us. Obviously, we put him in the wall a couple times on the front straightaway to beat him, but we made it happen in a photo finish to get win number 3 on the season and a crown jewel victory of the Brickyard 400, of course, at Indianapolis. As we would get past Jimmie Johnson, we were still working on the inside of Alex Bowman here on the exit of turns 4 to come through to complete this first and opening lap here of the playoffs. Joey Logano at this point, though, out front. He comes into the playoffs winless, but he did make it on points. Same for his Penske Racing teammate, Ryan Blaney. So those 2 Penske drivers made it into the playoffs without a win. Now as that came through turns 3 and 4, though, on lap 2 now, sliding up the track, Jimmie Johnson would get very aggressive, make a 3-wide with myself and Alex Bowman. He would carry the momentum right past us as we were still trying to pass the 10 or the 88 of Alex Bowman for P10. We were running now in 10th as they went down into turns 1, making it up the inside of Kyle Busch, but Jimmie Johnson continued to go around that 3rd lane. He would actually get past Kyle Busch and myself and then go to the outside of Martin Truex Jr. even down the back stretch as we went down towards turn 3. So Johnson not holding back at all, but we come through to lap 4 now of the first stage, back up the inside of the 48 of Jimmie Johnson, up to now P8 just behind our teammate Kurt Busch. There you see our rival Suarez kind of holding up the field at this point. I decided to get right on the back bumper of my teammate Kurt Busch and try to push him past the 41 of Suarez, and we would do so successfully. So then we would have to work on, of course, the 41 of Daniel Suarez, as we were now up into the 6th position at this point. We came through turns 1 now on lap 5 of the stage, and we would be able to, sure enough, pass our teammate, or our rival, sorry, of Daniel Suarez, as we would clear him for P5 here on lap 5. But then all of a sudden we come through to lap 6, and immediately something just felt different. Like the car just started falling off out of nowhere, and you would see the results here. The 18 would drive right past me on the inside. Kurt Busch, our teammate, seemed to be struggling as well. Denny Hamlin passed me. We dropped down to P8. Now on lap 8, Ryan Newman passes me. Then we had Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, all came through to pass me. I was running the outside because the car felt so bad, and I knew I was way off all of a sudden, so I was just staying out of the way at this point. We just continued to fall here as we came through on lap 11. Joey Logano still leading the way as it came through turns 1 and 2, but you can see our teammate Kurt Busch, same issue. He was falling down the order after moving through pretty quickly as well. And then we come through now on lap 12, looking like I was not going to be able to hold on to the final top 10 position because Jimmie Johnson had gone right back on my bumper now. Down the front stretch, I stayed to the right, and he just blows right on by here as I just, all of a sudden, it just, like, the car just got going so well, and then we would get passed by Martin Truex Jr., now drop down to the 12th position. Then the 95 would come through, as well as the 31 of Reddick and DiBenedetto. They would pass me. Next thing you know, we're down to P15. There's a little bit of contact made with the 95 of DiBenedetto, only with a few laps to go on the stage, and then Bowman passes me. We jump all the way down to P16 as we came through to the final lap here of stage 1. Eric Jones leading the way through turns 3 and turns 4, but then he gets passed by his teammate Kyle Busch, as you can see on the track map. but either way, we climbed up into a top 5 position, and within about 14 laps, we dropped down to P16 after we come through now out of turn 4, trying to close in on the 31, but just nothing there as we would come through to cross the line for a very disappointing Stage 1 effort of 16th place, and it was Kyle Busch winning the stage over his teammate of Eric Jones with a last corner pass for the stage win. But we would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. I knew we needed to do something with the adjustments because the car just wasn't right, so I made some tire pressure adjustments as well as I messed with the wedge too, just hoping that we would get something out of it. And even grill tape was some adjustments made now, as we would gain 1 spot though on the pit lane, so we're back up on the inside just behind the 88 of Alex Bowman. Now as the green flag is back out and stage 2 is underway, we come into this first round of the playoffs, I think 24 points to the good, if I remember correctly, which means that we're not really in the safest position. One really bad race could put us right on that cut line, so we definitely still got to be aware of that, but I think that this is really the only round we can afford to have a bad race, so I wasn't too concerned at this point. But obviously, considering how we've run in the past at Las Vegas, I was also pretty confident that we could still figure out what we need to do here and be able to move our way well inside the top 10 and potentially a top 5 and even contend for a win. But at this point right now, the win wasn't on my mind. I was just trying to manage what was going on here with this car as we complete that first and opening lap of the stage. And I decided to actually jump up to the higher lane here through turns 1 and 2. And we're going to go to the outside of the 7-time champion of Jimmy Johnson as we exit turns 2, heading down this back stretch. We clear him and then have to settle in behind the 88 of Alex Bowman, because actually Johnson would stick on my left rear as I went down into turns 3, running in that 11th position now as I come through the center of the corner. So we would actually be able to get past Johnson for a brief moment, but then he would get back on my inside now on lap 3 as I went 3 wide between him and Ryan Newman here as I went down into turn 3. We clear Johnson again into the corner as I try to get clear as well of Ryan Newman, but I slide up on the exit of turns 4, and there goes the 48 to my inside. Now we're 3 wide in the middle again between him and Ryan Newman now as we come through the tri-oval. Johnson gets cleared. Newman, I could not pass him. I could not pass the 6th car to save my life. So definitely concerned at this point as I went down into turn 3 now on lap 4, actually clipping the apron as I was trying to get past the 6 of Ryan Newman. As we come through out of turns 4, the smoke up ahead actually from the 18 of Kyle Busch, who won stage 1. He blew a tire. He would obviously bring out the caution, have to come to the pit lane, but to our surprise, he would not be out of the race, so it would still be an opportunity for Kyle Busch to actually fight back and maybe get a good finish out of it now, as this would obviously give us a restart here on lap 8 of 17 in this second stage, right behind the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, the 6 of Ryan Newman. Obviously, I was really glad to see this restart happen because it groups everybody back up and maybe will allow me to gain a bunch of positions here, and hopefully we can hang on potentially to some stage points if we can climb up inside the top 10. As right now we are P10 actually as we go down into turns 3 up the inside of the 88 of Alex Bowman as we come through the center of the corner. Keselowski back out front over second place of Kevin Harvick right now as we came down this front stretch. We've come through now on lap 10 out of turns 2, and I was struggling so hard to pass the 88 of Alex Bowman. Once again the car was really starting to fall off. We come through a little bit later on lap 11. We had now dropped down into the 12th position as I came through turns 3 and on the turns 4. Then the 95 de Benedetto would pass me, and then Martin Truex Jr. would pass me as I started to once again fall off. We come through all the way to the white flag of the stage. I dropped down behind Tyler Reddick in P15. Eric Jones, though, was leading the way down the back straightaway on this final lap like he was down the back stretch in stage 1 on the final lap there, but this time obviously he didn't really have any competition through turns 3 and 4 this time, so he was going to easily win stage 2 here in Las Vegas as we come through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time. Just struggling so hard at this point. I thought the adjustments we made after stage 1 was going to help, but it helped a little bit, but it just obviously did not do anywhere near enough what we needed it to. We dropped down to P15 for, once again, no stage points here in the second stage, so we are definitely in trouble going into this third and final stage as I once again would make adjustments, actually reverting the grill tape adjustment. I would try to mess again with the tire pressures and just see what we could do. The left sides I was messing with even, and then I decided to mess with the wedge a little bit as well and just hope we would have something good for the final stage. But we were now ready for the third and final stage here in Las Vegas for the first race of the playoffs. Now as the green flag is back out and we are underway from P15, Eric Jones is going to try to get win number 2 on the season. He definitely has the speed to do so, and this would obviously lock him in to that round of 12 where he would no longer have to worry about Richmond or the Charlotte Roval. Now as we come through turns 1 of the inside of the 31 of Tyler Reddick. Obviously I was a little bit concerned as we hadn't picked up any stage points, but I was still confident that we were in a decent position here as we go down this back stretch towards turns 1, but we still have this third and final stage to try and work our way forwards and get a solid top 10 finish out of it. Definitely, like I said, frustrated though and confused really. I didn't change anything with the pre-race adjustments that I run at Las Vegas, and we usually run top 10 no problem, top 5 a lot at Las Vegas, but this time I didn't know what happened. I was so confused. Like I said, as I came through turns 1 and 2, passing Martin Truex Jr. is really the first time I've actually had to really adjust the car here at Las Vegas. Usually we don't have to adjust the car too much in the career mode races, but I really had to work on it here tonight, and it still doesn't seem to be doing the trick now as we come through out of turn 4, trying to get past the 6 of Ryan Newman as I look to the inside of Joey Logano there just behind the 88 of Alex Bowman. We get to the inside of him, make it 3 wide with him and Logano as I went down into turns 1. Eric Jones still up front over second place of Keselowski, and on second place, right on the back of second place of Keselowski was the 4 of Kevin Harvick as I'll get to the inside of Chris Buescher, who's in the playoffs as well, keep in mind, after stealing a victory as well. Or no, he didn't steal that victory. He actually earned that victory that he had at New Hampshire against myself in a photo finish there as I would get past him, get to the inside of my teammate Kurt Busch, and at this point my confidence was starting to build a little bit, seeing all of a sudden we were able to run down our teammate Kurt Busch. But as I say that, through turns 3 we have a spinner from behind Tyler Reddick now as he would get hit there by Corey LaJoie as well in the process. That brings out a caution here in stage 3 as it goes spinning once again now as we were just in front of our teammate Kurt Busch when that caution came out. So we would not have to come to the pit lane and we would get right back into the action here where we would restart inside the top 10, thankfully, here in P8. Behind us was Kurt Busch, and Alex Bowman on the inside of me is the 11 of Denny Hamlin as we go down towards turns 1, just behind the 48 of the 7-time champion of Jimmy Johnson. Eric Jones, though, still leads the way. Keselowski, Harvick up in the mix. Even Eric Almirola in the mix. He missed the playoffs as well, keep in mind, as we went down towards turns 3, though, on lap 51 now. Actually had to settle in behind Joey Logano as we were down at P11. And once again, I can just feel the car starting to slip away. And you're going to see it now as I come through out of turns 4 on lap 53. Going for a bit of a slide there, and that would open the door for the 6 of Ryan Newman to get to my inside. And then we just started going all over the place again. The 18 of Kyle Busch would blow right on past me. He blew that tire earlier in stage 2, and he has now rallied back up into the 12th position. As Eric Jones, though, a little bit over 10 laps to go, was hoping it was going to stay green because he's well on his way to win number 2 of the season. Bowman, he would get to my inside, and then obviously as we went down towards turn 3, I just had nothing for him at this point, and he would be able to blow right on past me. And then Martin Truex Jr. would get into the mix as well on lap 58 with just 10 laps to go at this point, as we did not have enough fuel to make it to the end, keep in mind. So I was starting to think about green flag pit stops. So Truex, he would pass me. I'm slipping in, sliding out of turn 4 on lap 58. That would allow Stenhouse to go to the inside and pass me as well. And that's when I decided, okay, we're going to short pit to see what we can do, maybe gain some track position here, as there was 6 laps of fuel in the car. Obviously, we can't make it to the end, so I decided, like I said, we're going to do a bit of a short pit strategy here as we exit turns 4. And I was obviously questioning, do I take tires or not? I decided to take 2 right side tires because the right rear was only at 31%, and I didn't feel like risking blowing a tire and making things even worse. So 2 tire stop, 8.1 seconds was the time, and we would exit here and just hope that it would stay green long enough for this whole pit cycle to go through, as obviously we are lapped down right now here in P39 as we come through turns 1, and just like I said, just hoping that nobody crashes, as we've been bitten by that so many times where we make a pit stop, we come out of the pit lane, and then we get a caution. But thankfully we exit, and so far we were so good at this point here. 10 laps of fuel in the car, plenty to make it to the end as we come through to lap 63, and now pit stops were actually getting ready to go underway. Eric Jones, the leader, he would come to the pit lane. I'm passing all these slower cars here, the 38 of David Reagan, the 43 of Bubba Wallace just in front of myself, and then we had the 96 of Parker Kligerman on my outside. Bubba and Reagan, though, into the pit lane as we would eventually get past the 96 of Kligerman. You can see how much the car is struggling, though. I had the 96 of Kligerman giving me a hard time now as it came through turns 1 on lap 65. Just 3 laps to go. William Byron, he stayed out, and it looked like he was out of field or something, or he was just that slow. We would pass him, get back on the lead lap, but we had only cycled through to like P26, so now I knew The AI had taken no tires, putting us even further back here as we were approaching 2 laps to go. But as we say that, the 71 of Ryan Trubix in 35th place would actually be crashing through turn 3. I could not get the replay to go back enough to see what sparked that incident, but it looked like he blew a tire. But either way, this forces overtime. I decide to pit for 2 cans of fuel or whatever, 4 tires. We only lose 1 position out of it, and that's why I did it, because I know we need 4 tires, and we could go, instead of from a 26th place finish, we might be able to get back inside the top 20 and salvage a bunch of points. As we restarted on lap 69, nice there as we come through to just 2 laps to go here in overtime. Eric Jones, after that little mess right there, still would cycle out as the leader, so very good for him as we come through turns 1 and 2. Eric Jones looking to lock himself in to the round of 12 here with a victory in Las Vegas as we get a little bit loose there on the exit of turns 2 here as we go down into turns 3, approaching the final lap. Eric Jones would go all the way up to the outside as you can see from the distance, and Eric Almirola was on his inside as we come through out of turns 4. Almirola was so close to making the playoffs, he barely missed it, and if he would have won, he would have obviously been in, and all of a sudden it looks like he might be able to get win number 1 on the season if he can just get ahead of the 20 of Eric Jones as we start this final lap here in the first race of the playoffs, going up the inside of all these cars there. The 21 of Paul Menard, the 9 of Chase Elliott here, as we're going to be 3 wide down the back straightaway for the final time with Elliott and Stenhouse, but Eric Jones was clear of Almirola into turn 3, and he took Almirola's lane away as we come through the center of turns 3, and on the exit of 4, passing McMurray, the 17 of Stenhouse, as well as we come through down the front stretch. Eric Jones wins in Las Vegas for the 2nd time this season, and we come through to finish in P14. And honestly, I felt like a P14 finish is kind of what we deserve. That's kind of how we ran today. Unfortunately, I don't know what was wrong with the car. We came into this race 24 points to the good, and to my surprise, after no stage points, finishing 14th, we actually gained like 7 points. So we are actually 31 to the good after Las Vegas. So I'm very happy about that. Eric Jones is obviously, though, locked in. And you also saw the 4 drivers on the outside looking in, which we'll get one more look here at the playoff grid before we end this episode. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day for watching this episode. There you see the playoff grid for the trucks. We come in 2 points to the good. I think we'll actually have no problem making it to the next round. In Xfinity, we're 1 point out. So definitely a little bit of work to do there. And then obviously the Cup playoff grid here. We are 31 to the good with 2 races left in the first round. William Byron down in last. So that would do it though for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.